Do you notice that this squad, which is in the Euros, they only have one Liverpool representative in Henderson?
Maybe that's why lah.
So I think we can conclude that the problem that why England have never won the World Cup since 1966 and so on is basically because of Liverpool lah.
Salam sejahtera and welcome to Jom United. We are a Malaysian Manchester United fan channel. Yes, dengan bangga ni buatan Malaysia. If you are new to our channel and would like to be part of the hashtag Jom United Machas, please hit the subscribe button at the bottom right hand corner and turn on the bell notification. Hey, no sound.
Yeah, I told you right. This will screw it up.
Got sound lah ni. Okay, notification.
Okay.
I'll buy the ice cream bell next day lah.
Guys, we also started a Jom United Telegram group. Okay, basically this is a place where all of us hang out. Okay, and some of the subscribers they're already there. So you'll be just chilling, discussing football and a lot of banters and stuff like that lah. So just be prepared for 100-hour messages within an hour or so. Okay, so feel free to join us. Okay, so guys, we are here. We are at the Euros finals already, all right? Euros 2020 finals. Okay, this is our Jom Sembang Euros final preview. Okay, basically, I think it's quite unanimous lah. All around, it's coming home show lah. Pretty much, we can say that lah. Okay, kita start dengan president. Okay, we give the president title of the biggest fan of England. Okay, kepada Jai. Okay, Jai. So start. Sila beri pembuka kepada session kita.
Bang bang. Okay. Okay, kita ucapkan juga tahniah pada Denmark sebab kita melihat daripada permainan yang sangat bagus, tetapi apa boleh buat, England lebih bagus sebab bila kita tengok pasukan yang ketinggalan dan dapat gol and then menang, itu adalah salah satu pasukan yang kita tak boleh nafikan kebagusan dia. Tetapi jaringan gol Denmark kita tak boleh deny, memang sangat bagus sebab free kick selepas 91 game kan.
Yes, first goal
for free kick. Tetapi okey, untuk kita khususkan pada England lah, apa-apa cara pun England dah layak ke final. Ini adalah memang final pertama saya rasa untuk England, dan yang paling bagus, yang paling terbaik, yang paling yang I suka dan paling I tidak dapat nafikan, cara permainan mereka, pemain England sangat berbeza dengan permainan sebelum ni. Sebab saya boleh nampak daripada segi cara diorang attack, daripada segi cara diorang defend, memang kalau kita nak menang mana-mana piala pun, defend terbaik akan mendapat kejayaan. So dengan striker kita, dengan Kane, dengan kita punya defensive midfield, dengan defense, sampai cuma I risau pasal ada sudden death, extra time, sampai ke masa extra time. So memang apa yang sejangka-jangka sebelum ni ialah England ke final dan England ke final. So jadi fokus pada game yang final ni, buat yang terbaik, fokus pada apa yang manager dah tactical. Sebab kita nampak semalam memang banyak tactical mystery yang dibuat, sampai keluarkan Grealish and then masukkan Grealish and then keluarkan Grealish. Banyak benda yang misteri daripada Southgate bagi. Sebab tu I tak deny, and then cuma kita kena sabar and macam semacam dog cakap, apa orang kata, we come home, apa?
It's coming home. Okay.
Go to the dog.
Okay, we jump straight into the controversy. Okay, I'm just going to go with Ayrton first. Okay, Ayrton, was it a penalty? Some say it's an English man in the VAR room.
Who cares, man? England are in the final. I don't care. I really don't care. Okay, on a serious note, the Harry Kane tackle, that one is a more clearer penalty than the actual penalty that went down. Because honestly speaking, 9 out of 10 times, that would not have been given. But like I said, I don't care. England are in the final. I don't care.
This show is a biased England show So whatever, I'm just gonna be the neutral one here.
Because look at it this way I've been supporting England since Euro 96 Heartbreak after heartbreak. 96 Germany on penalties. 98 Argentina on penalties. 2002 David Seaman can't save a bloody goal, freak shot. But 2004 Portugal. 2006 Portugal again on penalties. 2008 didn't qualify, and so on and so forth. Every time, bloody heartache. And finally, it comes full circle. My whole entire journey of supporting England for the longest time, this is the first final I get to experience, whereas my brother who's supporting Italy, God knows how many finals they've been through already. Finally, that time I remember, before the start of the tournament, I said England will make it to the final and they're going to win it. Everyone laughed at me. Who's laughing now, man? Who's laughing now?
Hey, we gotta shout out to our first Euros preview when we actually predicted that England will go to the final. Not bad, You see, we told you so.
Yeah, we told you so. But wait now. We don't jinx it.
Don't jinx it. Better not jinx it. Okay, Doc, what's your opinion now on Gareth Southgate? Josh is not here, but what's your opinion on Gareth Southgate?
Some say it's just Ole in the West. Right? No, but I think what he's got is we had great England teams before, great England teams with wonderful players and great English players, But I think the key here is the togetherness that we never saw. There were times previously where we had wonderful players, but the club rivalry got in between them. There's a story that we hear from the dressing room, right? The United players were one side, Liverpool players one side, Spurs players, nobody gave a damn. But anyway, so I think he's really got them playing together. The team spirit is there. You can see, even in the celebrations, in the way they carry themselves. I think what is also good is he has used different formations. He's comfortable with a 3-5-2. He's comfortable with a 4-2-3-1. And I think the key here is whenever the subs come in, the subs have all been come in and hit the ground running, perform immediately, right? Solid defense. Maggie is looking superb at the back. Smurfs is going to kill me after this, but yeah, Maggie is looking solid at the back.
Danny is smiling.
Luke Shaw is providing assist after assist, so I think they deserve to be in the final.
Okay, Smurf.
Doc, I've got one thing. You see, when you said about the rivalry previously, right? I will have to agree with you because we had a lot of Liverpool players, a lot of MU players. But do you notice that this squad, which is in the Euros, they only have one Liverpool representative in Henderson?
Maybe that's why.
So I think we can conclude that the problem that why England have never won the World Cup since 1966 and so on is basically because of Liverpool, lah.
I agree. I second that.
Yes, Doc. Your question.
Okay, Speaking about Gareth Southgate's man management and also his tactical prowess, right? Okay, we saw that how he actually brought in Jack Grealish. Okay, I think it was the 60-something minute, and then he took him out during the extra time. So what's your take on that? Is that an injury or what do you think? What happened there?
Basically, on reports, is more on tactical. I think it was Southgate's tactical plan. Okay, because once England got the lead in the 101 minute or so on, where Harry Kane's penalty, they wanted to be, I believe that Southgate wanted to preserve the lead and be a bit more defensive. Okay, so knowing that based on all the England midfields that were on the pitch at that time, the one that least to actually come down and help defensively would actually be Grealish, though he is a fantastic star going up front. So he was the one to be sacrificed, and they brought in Trippier to be a bit more defensive. He just wanted it to be a bit more defensive. It paid off at the end of the day, and I feel that the squad harmony is fantastic because after the game, Grealish came out. I think there was an interview, if I'm not wrong, and Grealish came out and said that it doesn't bother him at all to be coming in for 20 minutes and then being subbed out based on tactical plans, as long as they are now in the finals, and he's just happy about that. So I feel that the squad harmony and the squad spirit is high, and yeah, hopefully they will carry this on, and the right attitude, supporting the manager's decision right to the end of the Euros 2020.
You guys notice one thing about Jack Grealish. He's always the players that attract the most, players from the opponent, and he collects the most fouls. You notice it's like every game is like that. He'll be rolling on the floor and stuff like that. But I like that kind of fight in him. I really do enjoy watching him play. Okay, so
I think I predicted this long before the Euros, right? That he will be the most foul player, but unfortunately not playing that much. But you know what is the good thing about him? He gets up, he carries on, and does the same thing over and over again. He's just a guy who loves to play football. Yes. And you can see from his interviews, even when he first when he played in the first game, or the second game where he came on as sub, right? He was just happy to play in the game, play in the Euros. And I think that's the spirit that, I think the very fantastic spirit, he may just one or two gesticulations to the referee, but he's never the type to just keep complaining, oh, I'm getting fouled. He just gets up and gets on with it. That's what I love about him.
Exactly. It would be a shame if he actually goes to City instead of United, seriously. Okay, just to sidetrack a bit.
Then you got to blame Woodward for it, man.
But actually, sure. Got him last summer, yes. Last season, yeah. Okay, Jai, apa pendapat you tentang goalkeeper Pickford? You rasa going into the finals, dia macam mana cakap, dia macam nervous sikit you rasa?
Kalau kita tengok daripada game Ukraine, tetapi untuk game Denmark ni dia terlalu lebih nervous lah. Dia mungkin tak tahu kenapa, tapi memang be shaky lah, selalu shaky sangat. Sebab kita tengok dia punya pass, dia punya clear ball, and then dia punya communicate dengan defend dia pun ada agak macam longgar lah, macam lag macam tu kan. Tetapi kita tak nafikan lah dia ada buat save yang bagus untuk England. Cuma kita takut sebab dia paling mustahak ialah fan nak tengok England dapat Euro Cup. Itu yang paling mustahak.
Piala.
Piala. So dia kena lebih, orang kata kena settle down cepat lah. Dia kena settle down cepat. Sebab bila kita kat final lagi nervous. Lagi tambahan kita bertemu dengan Itali, pasukan yang pilihan saya ke final. So kita boleh nampak dia kena settlekan dia punya nervous tu dengan kadar cepat lah. Sebab communicate dia pun semalam agak nampak macam dia ada macam big leg untuk communicate dengan dia punya big nervous lah.
Banyak nervous lah, boleh nampak beberapa player nampak nervous lah.
Takut mengundang padah. Tetapi apa-apa pun dekat final ialah final. Dia nak buat macam mana pun, dia nak cuba terapkan apa pun dia punya cara, apa-apa pun itulah final. Final, buatlah sebaik mungkin untuk tim. Itu yang paling mustahak.
Okay, we move on to the next player. We want to talk about Harry Kane. Okay, Ayrton, do you think that our man Harry Kane, he's going to get the Golden Boot? I think he's like one goal away to match Cristiano Ronaldo's record, right?
Ronaldo has what? How many years?
Ronaldo and Sheikh has 5. Kane has 4.
Harry Kane is on 4.
So what do you think?
Well, honestly speaking, if he wants to see what a trophy looks like, he better be scoring the goals in the next game. Because sadly he plays for Spurs and he has never won a trophy before. But yeah, on a serious note, I think he can do it. I mean, he has come good at the right time. Harry Kane, he had a slow start. I think, coming from the previous season as well. Probably there's some lethargicness down there. I mean, among all of the players, in the England squad that don't necessarily play for the top 6 teams, players like even Pickford as well, in the Everton squad, Calvin Phillips, the nerves will kind of get to them sometimes. But I don't think Harry Kane has that. Because I think in the England squad, the one that you can really genuinely say is 100% world class is Harry Kane, not Raheem Sterling. You can't stand that face, even though he scored a few goals. But yeah, and I think Harry Kane might just nick the Golden Boot. And if he turns it up. And I think the Italy game so might just be a high scoring game, and he just might just bang one or two, and yeah, he probably will take it lah. He probably will take it and let Ronaldo sulk over in Turin.
But Elton, we need Sterling to score. If he scores, we don't lose, dude.
I know lah.
Dive also is also okay lah. Can dive also okay lah.
But based on yesterday's game, if you guys looked at it, I'm not sure if you guys noticed, Kane was actually more. He was actually more of a contributor to the game instead of he was not selfish in the sense that he wanted to go for top scoring or to be the top scorer of the tournament. Because if he wanted that, I feel that he would always be in the box, always waiting for the ball from Sterling or Saka. But if you look at it, the first goal that was caught by Simon, which he actually laid the ball pass to Saka. He was actually the one that is creating the goal. So if you ask me, he dropped, and he is a very unselfish player. I do hope he will actually go on to win the Golden Boots at the end of the day. But I think in Kane's term, in his mind, for me, is he just wants to see the team win, and like what Ayrton said, he just wants to feel the trophy, not see the trophy, because they walk past the trophy at the end of the day before the game. But I think he wants to feel it this time. So for me, Kane is a very unselfish player. I do hope he wins the Golden Boots at the end of the day. But even if he doesn't, he has still been a fantastic player and a fantastic captain for England so far.
Yeah, and so I wanted to add, I wanted to add, finally England has a proper captain lah. After Jordan Henderson and before that.
Oh yeah, of course, man. Of course.
I think Harry Kane's overall game has improved in the last 1.5 seasons. I would say he's become a more all-round player. You know, he knows how to drop down. He knows how to spread the passes, and yet he hasn't lost his goal-scoring ability. I think he's now tied with Lineker as the top scorer for England in major tournaments as well. And I think if I'm not mistaken, in last game. So he's a guy who delivers on the big stage. You know, there was a lot of criticism after the first couple of games and when he wasn't scoring. But the moment he started scoring now, he's started scoring again, and that bodes well for England because we need him to score. He's still the main threat up front. And again, I hope Sterling scores in the finals because if Sterling scores, England don't lose.
Okay, going into the final. Okay, Jai, pada pendapat you, macam mana England akan approach game ini? Okay, you cuba teka lah misteri Southgate sedikit. Okay, then macam mana you rasa Italy akan line up?
Pada pendapat saya, formation yang untuk final ni kemungkinan Saka mungkin tak bermain. Maybe sama ada Sancho ataupun Grealish. I rasa kalau England nak ubah pun, biasa Southgate yang kita tengok untuk tournament ni, dia akan ubah mungkin Grealish dengan Sancho. Yang lain still sama. Itu sahaja yang kita nampak formation yang dia akan buat. Cuma macam sebelum-sebelum ni memang kita tahu dia akan follow pada formation ataupun tactical pihak lawan. So that mean Italy. Sebab sekarang kalau kita tengok Italy dah tak main konsep defensif, dia main offensif, maksud dia attacking. So berkemungkinan formation daripada Southgate ni sama ada Grealish ataupun Sancho. Yang lain semua line up yang sama. Sebab kita boleh tengok cara approach, cara press diorang still sama, cuma diubah daripada segi penampilan players, sama ada Saka ataupun Grealish ataupun Sancho yang akan bermain. Still formation sama. Tapi tidak boleh nafikan ada misteri juga di final. Itu kita tak tahu. Tetap ada misteri.
Maybe Doc, maybe you can add on how do you think that Italy is going to play in the finals?
I think Italy will play how they've been playing all this while. They're a bit more attacking compared to the previous Italian sides. That being said, I think in the semi-finals they went back to what they do best. You know, when they're playing against the Spanish team who refused to release the ball, they went back to their Catenaccio style again, right? And they just defended with their lives. But I think for me, Spinazzola is a big loss for Italy. In all the earlier games, he was the guy, driving them forward from the left. although he's right-footed, he can cut in and cross. He was even taking shots. He was very, very dangerous on the left, and a lot of attacks were going through him and Insigne, right? And I think they lost, and we saw that in the semi-final as well. Once without him, with Emerson, then Emerson hasn't played much this season, so that left side became a little bit nullified for Italy, and that is why they had trouble going forward. But again, Insigne is a real threat. If only England had somebody like Park Ji-sung just put on him and spoil his whole game.
Yeah, so I mean, like, the unsung heroes for this Italy team is Bonucci and Chiellini. My God, those old timers can still play. I mean, like, I think if it comes down to a defensive mindset to win new games, if just say these two can hold off England, and then Ciro Immobile and Insigne turn it on, in the long run, Italy might just stand a chance to nick it. I don't think, I really hope not. But if we play to their game plan with their strengths from the back leading up to the front, Italy stands a chance.
Just hope Italy don't score first. If they score first, they will close up shop.
Yeah, most definitely.
Actually, Jai, I got one question for you, Jai.
Yeah.
Okay. Why do you think Southgate actually chose Saka ahead of Sancho last night? In your opinion?
Actually lah, kalau pendapat saya lah kan, kalau sepatutnya lah, kalau ikutkan saya, memang saya tak akan bawa masuk Saka tu sebenarnya, pada saya lah. Tetapi pada apa yang saya nampak, yang Southgate letakkan Saka ni, berkemungkinan lah cara permainan Saka ni ada mirip macam Sterling tau. Kalau kita nampak lah, bukan dari segi dribble, tetapi dari cara bola tiada di maknanya masa tak ada bola, macam mana dia melepaskan diri dia melalui tanpa bola. Macam contoh lah, macam true pass daripada Kane semalam yang dapat chance untuk skor tu. Jadi dia cara permainan dia macam kita nampak Grealish, dia lebih kepada tactical, lebih pada membawa bola dan menunjukkan skill-skill individu kan, menggelecek, menewaskan pihak lawan. Tetapi Saka ni dia memang cara dia macam tu, tetapi dia more lebih kepada Sterling punya permainan tau. Mirip daripada sini. Dia boleh berlari tanpa bola. Itu yang I rasa Southgate nampak daripada apa yang Saka boleh buat lah. Itu
okay,
yang
and then
saya
you don't think that this yang ni akan will be manfaat kepada England in the sense that the way that Saka actually runs and his speed against elderly Italian defense, because we know that Spain actually did literally expose the defense. I mean, gave a headache to Italian defense in the semi-finals. So if you're going to play with two speedy wingers such as Sterling and Saka, don't you think that this would actually be an advantage instead of Grealish coming in and getting the knocks and giving away free kicks? Because we don't have David Beckham in our squad any longer to take direct free kicks and make a change from a free kick.
Pada pendapat saya, kalau ikutkan kelebihan tu memang sebab kita dah tahu back four Italy dah macam veteran, memang dah kurang daripada segi fitness, daripada segi kelajuan. So sebab kita nampak sekarang ni defend England, macam contoh Kyle Walker dengan Luke Shaw, dia boleh cross bola tau, dia punya crosses. And then untuk crosses kita kena cari winger yang boleh berlari tanpa bola, tanpa daripada man from behind, dia boleh menyelinap masuk. Itu tactical yang saya rasa Southgate pakai sekarang ni. Sebab kalau kita nak kata true winger macam Sancho, macam Grealish ni, memang diorang boleh buat kerja, tetapi kemungkinan untuk keluar daripada orang kata tanpa bola,
mencari ruang
daripada man from behind, mencari ruang itu off the ball yang bukan Grealish dengan Sancho ada. That's why Southgate gunakan ni, sebab dia tahu Kyle Walker dengan Luke Shaw boleh cross bola.
So I think that Saka will be a better bet to start the finals instead of. I mean, in my point of view, I feel that if this is the case, then Saka would actually be a better player to start off the game against Italy because he can penetrate. He is better. His movement is better off the ball. He can run through behind defense. He's intelligent enough, and basically he is not selfish.
For personal terms, kalau tanya pendapat saya, memang saya tak letakkan Saka tu. Tetapi daripada pendapat kemungkinan taktikal daripada Southgate sendiri, yang kita tahu memang misteri, memang dia akan letakkan Saka. Memang dia takkan deny letakkan Saka sebagai final untuk final yang bertemu dengan Itali.
Whatever the case is, we just hope that it's coming home lah. Like what Doc used to say.
I just have a feeling. I have a feeling that England may target the left side, because if you look at the whole defense, right, the other three are very stable. They've been in there the whole tournament. Hardly can break through them lah, right? Now the weak link may be this left side because Emerson has now suddenly come in. He's not been playing, so they may target the left side. And if they do, then you might see Sancho, because Sancho is the one who can take on this Emerson and put the balls into the box. I don't know. Again,
or maybe
I follow Jai's style. It's a mystery. What will happen?
Because when you say crossing, when we're going to cross a lot, say if England is going to go with Luke Shaw and Sancho, who is going to cross the ball in, I feel that will be, from my point of view, that will be a pretty weakness in the sense that because we do know that Italians, their two centre-back are huge buggers. This guy are huge and they are actually experienced. Their positioning is good and they will be able to clear. Of course, out of 10, maybe one might be missed lah. If Maguire miss 10, but nevertheless. So I think Italian defense, if you're going to play the crossing game, it's going to be it's not going to be a benefit for England. But I think the best option would actually be using Saka and Sterling to run behind defenders, and the midfield release the ball much faster to them.
I nak tambah sikit. I nak tambah sikit. Sebab sekarang ni kalau kita tengok daripada dalam pemain yang dekat dalam padang dengan dekat luar padang, semua yang bagus-bagus, semua yang berbakat. Cuma cara Southgate terapkan dan taktikal dia itu yang membuatkan sebenarnya dia tak ada, dia macam contoh kalau dia nak pakai Kane, dia boleh tukar ke yang Lewitt tu, siapa nama dia, Evertonnya striker
Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
DCL.
Cara permainan cara permainan dia dengan Kane tak sama. So that's why dia akan menggantikan tactical. Itu yang bagus Southgate ni, sebab mungkinlah apa yang I rasa Southgate ni punya projek bukan masa ni punya projek tau. Dia dah sebelum dia bawa player untuk under 21, I think dia dah buat benda ni tau. Dia dah try benda ni. Try and error lah maksud dia. Dia dah try semua player-player yang ada. So sekarang ni untuk dapatkan final, untuk dapatkan piala, diorang cuma just follow tactical apa yang Southgate bagi je dan jangan buat mistake. Itu saja. Kalau nak kata nak tarik masuk Sancho dan nak tarik Grealish keluar masuk, tak ada masalah sebab player kat luar pun semua baik-bagus.
Yeah, because the bench players, if you ask me, like what Jai said, DCL, Sancho, Grealish, they bring different dynamics to the game, if you ask me. And Southgate is a lucky man because he can change the game based on his players from the bench.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if you bring in somebody like Rashford, he's going to dribble the ball up and probably he's going to square the ball into the box from the left-hand side. So, and you're going to bring in Sancho, he's probably going to cross the ball in. Grealish is going to bring the ball and probably play a 1-2 with you. So he has alternatives. He has different players and different capabilities, which they are all fantastic. It's only how is he going to utilize them at the end of the day to achieve success for England.
So some say is Ole in the West, but Ole doesn't have this kind of options on the bench.
Ole, another thing, Ole, the plays that he have doesn't really perform. I mean, Harry Maguire, for example, the number of headers that he actually managed to hit on target yesterday. In one game, I think
I was taken aback, man.
For United, man, serious.
I was taken aback.
Guys, tambah lagi. Zaman David Beckham sampai injured pun terpaksa cepat-cepat settlekan, cepat-cepat recover benda tu cepat sebab tak ada player dekat luar.
Ya.
Ini yang bagus untuk sekarang punya team.
Bet banyak.
Sekarang. Banyak. Dia sebelum ni pun dia tak letak Maguire, dia letak Tyrone Mings. So okay
juga
Tyrone Mings. So,
tapi tak okey sangat lah. Tak okey sampai MU nak beli lah. MU nak beli.
Tak ada dalam list I pun untuk Mings dalam list I lah. Kan.
Okay guys.
Tapi Stone ada. It's better Stone lah beli daripada Mings.
Kalau beli
lah bro.
kan,
Pep's not gonna let you buy half Stones lah.
Performance dia okey saja lah I think. Stones.
Saya tak mau batu, saya mau nasi bro.
Nasi position lah sama lah.
Rice.
Okay guys.
Alright.
Let's go into the score prediction. Okay, Doc, you go first. Score prediction. The last score prediction that we are going to do for this Euros 2020, the finals. Who is going to win? Italy, England?
Oh, tough one. England to sneak it by a single goal. 1-0.
1-0. Okay, Ayrton, score prediction.
Well, honestly speaking, seriously, for the benefit of my own health and the health of my fellow United panelists over here, right? Please finish it in 90 minutes. Please, for God's sake.
Too old already.
Cannot tahan, weh.
Sakit jantung.
Yeah. And I like I mentioned earlier, I think it's going to be goals in this game. It's really going to be goals. But England's squad depth is magnifico. Bellissimo. The Italians, bellissimo. 3-1 to England.
Okay, Smurf, how about you? Score prediction.
I feel it's going to be a very, very tight game. Italian are going to be pretty defensive, and of course, Mancini has brought a lot of attacking style flair to their game as well. I think Kevin is going to be a very busy man in the middle of the park together with Rice. At the end of the day, I just hope the game finish in 90 minutes, 2-1 to England.
Okay, Jai, I simpan yang terakhir untuk you lah, Jai. So siapa yang akan
penalty? Jangan penalti.
I hope jangan penalti lah.
Jangan.
Jangan penalti sebab memang fobia gila dengan penalti. Sebab macam Ayrton pun cakap sebelum ni penalti kalah beberapa kali dengan Portugal apa semua kan. So hope dia sampai extra time okey lah. 2-0 kalau boleh, 2-0. Sebab I rasa dengan tidak adanya beberapa player Itali yang key player, so I hope England just main macam biasa and attacking macam biasa kan, asalkan dapat gol 2-0 untuk England pegang piala untuk sekarang ni kan. So jadi
dia dapat holiday lepas tu.
I think this is damn funny and serious. I think everything you're the one who point out in the group. Basically, for you guys who are not aware, right? Basically, the English people, right? They are signing petitions and whatnot, right? If they win the Euros, public holiday on Monday. Sounds very.
I think the Asians there, I think the Malaysians there, something to do with it lah.
Malaysian education.
So, guys, what's your score prediction for this game? Will it be Italy or will it be England? Okay, is it coming home? Is it finally coming home? Okay, leave your comment below. Like usual, please like, share, and subscribe. Okay, turn on the bell notification. Smurf. All right.
It's coming home, It's coming home, not going to Rome. Okay?
Then we'll see you guys in the next video.
Bang, bang.
Bang, bang, bang. Bang, bang.
Bang, bang.